Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to get this up on the iPad. Just finding it on my iPad. There we go. Let me turn it down. All right. Let me make sure this one is turned up all the way. All right. It's a little bright, right? Standing right up close to it. I'll give everybody a few minutes to get here. We're about ready to go. I keep meaning I'm going to take these off of here one of these times. All right. Keep getting. All right, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. That was like an oops. I'm just going to leave that notification alone. All right, I'll give it a minute and then we'll get started. When you pop in, say hello. Let me know where you're watching, from where you're watching. Happy Friday. Ugh, I think I want to run in and get a hat on. Hold on. Okay. Let's see what we have. I feel better now. Oh, my hair's been driving me crazy all day and I'm much happier with my hat. This is the first hat that I marbled. And this was my first attempt at a flower. So give me grace. It wasn't great, but it definitely matches my tumbler. Have the same color scheme going on here. So, okay. If you're watching this video and there is no live right here in this corner, a red box that says live, that means you're watching the replay. Hashtag replay if you're watching. I'd be happy to come in and say hello and answer any questions you have. I can't always see the questions when they pop up. I have to look on my iPad and it kind of hides it sometimes. So please don't be afraid to leave a question in the comments and I'll come back and answer it later. So for those of you who are new, my name is Linda Anderson. I am the owner of Aqueous Silk. And this is Ebrew water marbling. I marble on all kinds of surfaces: cotton, satin, leather, glass. We're going to be doing a tumbler tonight, straight, with no thread wrap on it. I'm so excited. I attempted it last week and it did work, so we'll see if it works this week. Hello, Gwenda. And so we're going to get started. I have some cotton dog bandanas I'm going to marble, and then I'll have to stitch them together. They're just cut out of high quality quilter's cotton. And then I have some pieces of fabric. I have some scraps I'm going to marble and a long piece of cloth for a baby quilt that I'm going to be making. So you can do all kinds of fun stuff with this. And then after I get all that marbled, no paper this week. We're just going to be doing the cotton and then a tumbler. I'll need to point you in a little bit different angle when we get ready to do the tumbler because I have my fluid in a bucket down here. And I won't be able to empty this the one that I'm going to point you down at right away in time to get it moved and the bucket up there. So we'll have to just go with it. So let me point the camera down to the tank, and you're going to see my work surface. And we're going to start with the cloth, and when I finish that, then we'll move to the tumblers. So please ask questions. I'll try to catch them on my iPad, but if not, like I said, sorry for the up close and personal here. I'm going to point you down at the tank. You're not going to be able to see the whole tank again. There's my lovely old hand. Because it's 76 inches long. So we can only see a portion of it right here. Okay, so what I did first, I put the water in here and let the bubbles settle. I took a piece of newsprint and just drug it along the surface. That takes off any impurities that may have fallen. It's pretty windy here. And I'm in southern Idaho, southwestern Idaho. And so any dust that's in the air, any particles that may have fallen in, we've got a nice clean surface so we can get started. So I'm going to do 2 sizes on this first one of dog bandanas. So let's see, where can you see? I'm going to put this kind of right in the center. I have definitely big ones for big dogs, and I have little tiny ones. I didn't make the smallest pattern. I didn't cut out the smallest one I had, but I have some pretty tiny ones. Let's see. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope that you've all had a delightful day. When I left my day job, I got to visit with my youngest daughter all the way home. So that was always nice when I get to do that. Okay. So here we have the water. This is water that has a little bit of seaweed powder in it. Thickens it up a little bit. Helps it elevate the paint. So let's see, what colors do we want for the first one? Let's see. Oh, I hate choosing colors. Let's do blue and teal and purple and white. If you have color combinations, just go ahead and type them in. I'd be happy to give it a try. This is our first one for today. I'm going to do 2 different sizes of dog bandanas. I don't have a good place to set my bottles. I didn't position my tank correctly. Again, this is Ebru water marbling. This started out on paper surfaces. The last few weeks I have done paper. This week I'm not. So I'm just laying down a nice base of paint to get started. I generally always use white. And if you hear my garage door creaking, it's because it's very windy here. I just want to drop this 1 drop at a time, let it spread out. The idea is to fill the surface of the water. It's all about surface tension. So now we'll use a purple. This is acrylic paint. It's a very relaxing art form. And you'll watch that color expand. And as I add colors, it's going to push those circles right now back together, and they will become more intensely colored. A little bit of blue. And you can apply the paint like I'm doing here out of a bottle. You can just tap it on with a nice soft brush. You can, I have broom straw that I use to put it on. You can use a dropper to put it on, a pipette. It's all up to you where and how much paint you drop to the surface. All right, and now a little bit of teal. Teal is always a color that's very pushy. Ooh. Just putting it on. As I drop these onto the tank or onto the surface of the water, the colors will not blend when they're on the surface of the water. We're not going to make brown at all. Okay, so do I want to come back? Just a little bit of purple in this teal. Come on. Look how powerful that purple is. So I think I'm going to come back with more blue, because those drops I just made took up the whole thing. The weather will impact this art form. It's very, now it's windy and just kind of not humid, not terribly humid, but it's just weird today. We've had rain. The other day we had snow. It's spring in Idaho. You wait 10 minutes and it'll change. So now I'm going to do a little bit more here. Just drop it right on. Okay. As I was prepping, I already have paint all over my hands. You'd think I've been doing this long enough so I'm not quite so messy, but I'm messy. So we're just going to freeform this one. So now we just start moving the paint around on the surface. You don't want to drag it on the bottom and make it real rigid. It doesn't hurt anything, but you may create a bubble. Bubbles are not your friend. When you're put the fabric down, if there's a bubble, there's going to end up being a blank spot on the fabric where the bubble was. So you try to keep it relatively slow. It doesn't have to be super slow. And you just move the paint until you are pleased with the way it looks. The temperature impacts this, the humidity does, everything. How windy it is when I do it outside. If it's warm, the wind's blowing, it will blow right over the surface of the water. And you'll watch the paint start to dry. It can dry on the surface, but you have about 20 minutes or so to get your print taken, depending on all those weather factors. All right, I think I like that. So let's see, I've got some, I guess I have one great big one, and I have two great big ones. So let's see, see if I can get a small one. Just lay it right like that onto the surface. These are the type of bandanas that the collar will slide through. Hello, hello. I see someone from Michigan. I can't see the name because it's upside down. Let's see if, no, this one over here isn't showing me anything. My iPad is just not showing me comments, so I apologize. So now I'll just lay the smaller one down. And there we go. There are 2 bandanas. I have a bucket of regular old plain water right here. There's one side of one. Okay, pull up the next one. This is the other side of the big one. Make sure it's in there. I'm just dropping these into the bucket of water. Here's one of the smaller ones. That was a pretty good color combination, if I do say so myself. Yeah, the iPad is just not showing me comments today, so I apologize. Welcome, welcome everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful Friday. I was never so happy to be jetting out of the office so I could come and play. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just that, when I put them in the water, just take off any excess paint and the size that it sits on, and then put it in a baggie, a Ziploc baggie, and then I will rinse it one more time gently under the tap water when I get into the house after I'm finished here, and hang them up to dry. I'll heat set it with an iron, and then I'll stitch them together. They go together pretty quickly. I think cutting them out takes more time than anything. And see, I just pulled this out. I don't know if you can see it. I don't want to hold it over, but there's still paint on it right out of the water here. The paint doesn't, excess paint may, and I may see a little bit of paint in the bottom of this bag. So this is how I carefully place them in there. Just pull them out and drop them in the bag. I might see a little bit of excess paint when I go to rinse those in the house when I take them in. Okay. So I'll move the rinse bucket. And I'll move the paint bottles. Now I'll put down some more newsprint and get rid of that paint. And we can do another color. Now I can see right in here, if you see these dots of teal, some of the teal did sink today. It's not going to matter though. It won't impact anything else because if we only use the surface. All right, get another sheet and get that picked up. All right. Okay, now I can just pick all this up and try not to fall in the water I dribbled on the floor of the garage. And I will take out these 2 sheets of paper here because my next colors are not going to be the same, and if there's any color around these that is the prior color, I don't want it on my new project. And now up any little bits that may be left. Lay down my barrier paper. And we're ready to go again. I can't see, guys, I'm sorry. Hi, Cam. Hello, hi, Patricia. Hi, Suzanne. Sorry if you see my space squinting up there. My iPad won't show me any of the comments. So I just marbled 2 dog bandanas, or what will be dog bandanas. It's just white fabric right now. Well, some of them are. I just marbled 2, and I have 4 left to do. And then I have a piece of fabric I'm going to marble for a baby quilt, or I guess pieces. The excess that I cut off when I was making the dog bandanas, cutting those out, I'm going to marble the bits and pieces, all the scraps, so then I can use those in the quilt, incorporate, you know, little bits of the color. And then I'm going to use this long strip I'm going to cut her name out of it. So it should be fun. So now let's try. Let's use this. This one and this one. Let's see, I want this one. Okay, with this one we're using these 3 colors. A gray, a bright, a neon green kind of color, and a blue. The gray looks like, hopefully it's going to work well. I'm just giving it a little bit of a shake here. Let's see. Now my iPad is just saying no to the comments. Oh, wait a minute. Now they're there. I see everyone now. And oh, thank you, Suzanne. This was my very first hat that I marbled. I do it much better now. I am also, after I get the fabric marbled, I will be marbling tumblers. Until just last week, when I marbled tumblers, I wrapped them all like you would if you were making a fishing rod, which we also do. We build fishing rods. And one day I was working on something like that, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I can do this on a tumbler. And I did. It's just so difficult because it takes hours upon hours to get it all done. And then sometimes it's very inconsistent, the tension. And so I've just not been super happy with the way it comes out. But so I was driving and I thought, oh, I wonder, I had another idea. So I tried that last week and it worked. So we're going to try it again this week. I'm going to do it on camera. See, I'm just dropping the paint. And if you notice, this green is not expanding. Remember how the purple just pushed way out? And the green is not doing that. It's taking a little bit longer. Each paint color has its own property. It has its own behavior. If I can get the lid on, that would be a good thing. Okay, let it, see, we have a bubble right here. Bubbles are not our friend. I'm just trying to I want this, see the little dots in the center of some of these greens? That's still the drop of paint trying to disperse. I should have done one of these. I'll do the next set in a stone pattern. Because this one I'm going to use more tools than just the free form. I'm going to actually work the paint a little bit more. See, I really want these little guys to disperse. See that? I just dropped that right on the blue. Just encouraging it a little bit. This color of paint I haven't used a lot, and you can tell that it's a little bit thicker. Still floats, but it's just a little bit thicker than some of the blue. All right, that's good enough. Okay, so I have the paint down. What do I do with my, let's see, right here. So this is generally, when I'm using my tools, all my tools, I start with the back and forth. This is a very traditional pattern to start your design with. And anytime along this journey of moving paint, I can stop and print. I just know what I'm going for, which is not what everybody likes. I actually like it all, but it's just so fun when you're moving the paint. It's the hardest thing to stop moving, because what if I did this? What if I did that? Your tank needs to be large enough or to accommodate the piece that you're marbling. Obviously, like I'm doing here, you can mask off part of the tank, but it needs to be at minimum large enough to put your piece in flat or completely submerge the pieces that you want marbled. All right, so there's step one. Now this poor guy has a tooth missing. Oh, this is perfect. So I'm just going to move it down this way, and then I'll had to squiggle it over there for my camera stand. And then like that. And we could stop here if we wanted. Let's see. I've got the tool that's too big. I have several different tools to fit different tanks. So there we go. That's the pattern we're making this time. I still need to make my new I still need to make my new tools. I'm still using these old wooden ones. They've been dropped and beat up. Okay, so I think I want to try to lay these down this direction. see, I'm gonna do the other end. I'm gonna do them the opposite way so I can get 2 out of this one as well. Sorry if my hat's in the way. All right, so I'll get the rinse bucket over here. Let's pull this off and see how it looks. So it has a gray background, the neon green, and a blue. Into the rinse bucket. There's the other side. There's the little one. There's the other one. Into the rinse bucket it goes. So I'll get a baggie and I'll bag these up. And then we have 2 more to do before I move on to the cotton for the quilt. And for the quilt cotton, I'm just going to fill the entire tank, move it all around, and then just put as many of these pieces of fabric in there as I can. So let me get the baggie. I love doing all kinds of projects. Cam, are you still here, Cam? I was going to tell you, Cam does, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember. My mind just went blank. But she does the stuff where you use the inks and the silk screen transfer things, and you do it on wood and windows and all kinds of things. So she does that, and I was going to tell her I have an idea. So we're going to clean this up. Now I could move this around again if I want, but when I pull that paint out of the tank, this, if you watched it, started to move in to fill the areas where the paint was removed. So there's not as much tension, so the paint, it's called a ghost print because it's not as intense as the one that was there originally. And I could do something and do that, but I'm not a fan of how that looks. So I rarely will do that. Sometimes if I know I'm going to marble the piece again, then I'll do it. And then that's when you marble something twice like that. That's called an over marble. Move this big old bucket before I trip. So the newsprint acts just like the fabric does. Pulls that paint right up. Anyone have something fun to do this weekend? I have projects to finish, and I've got to go get a tire repaired tomorrow. It just has a slow leak, but every time I go to the tire store, they say, "Oh, you need new tires. You need new tires." And I will be irritated if that's the case tomorrow, even though I do soon need new tires. One thing I've noticed when I started doing this, I never realized how much brown is in gray. It just shocked me when I start working at some of the grays. If they're not mixed very well, they look very, very brown. And they still have a brown undertone to them. So I can see there's still quite a bit of that blue on the surface here. Tripping over the garbage container here. Now hopefully next week I will be marbling a larger canvas. I have one, it's semi-prepped. It wasn't all the way finished, so I couldn't do it today, but I'm looking forward to it. A couple weeks ago I did my first, hey Linda, I like the way your name's spelled. That's how mine's spelled as well. I did my first canvases and actually had the paint stick to it. I've done it a few other times where the paint has just rinsed right off or run right off, and I got it to work last time. So I was very excited about that. All right. So you might see some streaks under here. Again, it's under the surface of the water, so it won't bother our project. If you see me when I'm laying paint, grab a paper towel and dab it. That just means I see a little bit of the paint that's still on the surface. But I can pull it right out. Okay, any color suggestions for the next two? No suggestions here? I guess I should give you time to respond since that is a little delayed. Okay, we'll put down our barricades here. So we have 2 more dog bandanas. Now that's one thing I'll be working on this weekend is getting those stitched together. If I get super ambitious, I'll sew my top that I have had cut out for quite some time. Okay. All right, we're ready to roll again. So now, color time. I need to just determine what colors I want. I always have a tendency to want to do the metallics. Metallics don't work on fabric. And then when I'm doing, when I'm working with, well, let's do that. Whoops, that won't do. I can't do that. When I'm working with paper, then I forget to use my metallics. The struggle is real. Let's see. This is so hard for me. Whoops. Dropping paint containers here. There's my white. All right. I think I have decided as I'm knocking over all the paint. I think I'll use a purple, a pink, and a blue. Let's see if anyone, hey Colleen, how are you? There's not much in this pink, but I'm hopeful I can get a little bit out of it. Some purple, some blue, and I'm gonna start with white again, because I think these are dark enough colors that I need a little white. So let me grab a paper towel. I'm gonna grab a drink too. There we go. That's better. All right. A couple weeks ago I did pillow covers, and for the first time ever, They were perfect when I pulled them out of the rinse bucket. They were perfect when they went into the bag. And I let them sit there, which is no big deal. You can easily let them sit in the bag for a day or two. Because I had paper up drying. My guest bathroom is my work area for drying things. And I pulled those things out to hang up to dry, and the paint was all gone. It wasn't in the bag, it wasn't on the fabric, it was gone. I still cannot for the life of me, oh, and I was gonna, okay, I'm gonna do something fun here. So I'm gonna take this as our background. Let me make sure. Oh, drats. I don't have a cup out here, so I can't do that. But we'll go ahead, we'll continue with what I was doing. I was going to do a stone pattern, but I have no little cups out here, and I have to pour the paint into a little cup. Thought I had some here, but I think I was mixing paint and I used them last time when I did the stone pattern, because I actually remembered last time. It turned out really cool. So you can feel the paint when you're moving it. It gives you just a little bit of resistance. It's very, very zen when you move the paint. So I have that as my background, and now I'm going to put some blue. I'm just going to drop some blue on. How are you doing, Colleen? I'm glad you made it. I'm going to do something new in a little bit. I have some fabric yet to do, but I'm going to marble something new. So there I put on a little blue, and let's see how much of this pink we can get out of here. Good, it looks like there's going to be enough. Again, you can put it wherever you feel like putting it. I think as it stands now, that blue has spread so much that it's not going to be super intense. Do I want to add another color to it? I don't think so. I kind of like the way it looks. What do you think? You guys like this or not? What should I do here? Hi, Janice. Welcome, welcome to Southern Idaho, Southwestern Idaho. So now I think I'm going to leave it. I don't think it's going to bother me if that's a lighter blue in the final pattern. So now I'm just going to do random movements again. I made a blue scarf. Actually, I made it twice because I marbled both sides of it, and I sent it to my cousin for her birthday. She is in sunny Florida. So look how much different that looks. Now, because I'm me, I have to get some swirls in here. We can't just have those. Oops, I just drug the bottom. All right, I think we're gonna go with that for this one. Now these are just two medium-sized little bandanas, or will be bandanas. After using the great big scarf fabric, it's so odd to have this little pieces of fabric. All right, let me get the rinse bucket. Now, if I don't not slip out of my hands. There, I'm very happy with the way this turned out. All right. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I do have a kit in my Etsy shop. If you're just curious and want to buy a little booklet, I'm getting ready to put a digital booklet in my Etsy shop so you can just learn about the art. All right, rinse my hands a little bit, dry them off, and get a baggie. I've learned that wet hands and baggies don't do very well together. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. Hey, Joni, how are you? Or Johnny. Is it Joni or Johnny? My Michigan friend. Yeah, these are dog bandanas if you just joined us. Okay, what am I doing? I'm getting a baggie. I start yakking and lose my track of what I'm doing here. So I'll put on the list cups, little cups to bring out for next week to do some stone pattern. I want to start doing more of those, but I always forget because it's so fun to do what I just do. When you do a stone pattern, you generally do not move the paint. You just lay it down, splatter it on there, and then print, and it turns out really cool because it's very organic. But I like to move the paint. Okay. So that is all of the dog bandanas. Now we're going to put down the paint for, well, I've got to clean that up, and then we're going to put down the paint for the baby quilt. Drying my hand off. Touching newsprint with the wet hand doesn't work very well either. As I'm standing here, I'm thinking, oh, am I going to change my mind of what colors I wanted to use for that baby quilt? But I don't think so. I think I know what I want. I've had children that have done this before, and they want to use, moms will say, how many colors can they have? So they can have all of them if they want. And they all just like, no, don't say that. And the kids are all excited. And we have had them put all kinds of colors together. And I've never seen an ugly one come off the water. It's just amazing. I first saw this on a video and it took my breath away. I've been creating since I was about 8 years old, probably before that, but that's the first time I sewed with a sewing machine. I made a little frog and it was filled with beans, and it was just so cute. and I've been creating ever since, and fibers just make me happy. Yarn and thread and all of that. So when I saw this, I knew it was for me. Okay, I get to fill the whole tank this time. I'm so excited. Now I see a little dot of blue right here. Can you see that little speck? Yeah, if you don't mind sprinkling this out on your pages, I would be very thankful for that. I love sharing this art form with anybody who wants to listen to me yap about it. And I feel so privileged to get to be an artist like this when I had not even heard of this art form 4 years ago. All right. Bubbles, not your friends. All right, now I have to, it's getting to the point where I have to make a choice on color here. Part of my problem is that I have 2 different brands of paint. And I know, well, I think we're just going to go for it here. I think this is what we're going to do. So we're going to be using white, gray, these 2 pinks, there's still a little bit in this one, and then a yellow. That's what I'm going to use for this quilt. So it's not too girly. She has a big brother, so we're going to try to make it not too girly. So this one I'm filling the entire tank. And the object that you try to do is to drop this paint right inside the where it's spread on the row before, because you want a nice full tank. I think I've said that already. And the white just adds, or it just acts as your base. Make sure there's plenty of color, because the fabric's white, so we really don't need it. It's just more pressure to put on the other colors, so they're nice and vibrant. And I want this tank full because I'm going to load it up with all the scraps, because I'm going to incorporate every piece of this fabric that I can into the quilt. Nothing is going to go to waste, or as very little as I can. The other day I made some book covers. I have not actually, I have some books that are stitched together, but I have not applied the covers to them yet, made the case bindings yet. So I have that to do. I hope to get a few of those done. I need to mix paints. I haven't been doing a whole lot of marbling after everything stopped last year. And I keep thinking, okay, I'm gonna make paint, and I've been so exhausted coming home from work, and then I get busy on the weekends and going, oh, I go to do a live going, I forgot to do paints again. So we may add more gray, I'm not quite sure yet. This is actually red, but it's very pink. The light and the bright version of these with gray is one of my favorite colorways. So I need a little bit more down here to even it out. I wish you could see this in person. I wish you were all right here in my garage. We could have so much fun. And now I'm going to add a pop of yellow. Probably not going to add a ton of yellow, but we'll see how it looks when it gets down. Oh, it's kind of pretty on there. I'm not a huge yellow fan, but that does look kind of pretty with this. My daughter, my oldest daughter and I have 3 grown daughters, and we were talking, she lives in Oregon and she drives to work about the time I'm driving home from work, so that's usually when she calls me. And we were talking about this one particular car that we both like. And where I was saying, yeah, if they gave me a yellow one, I'd take a yellow one. I would not sneeze at yellow. So now we're going to see if there's enough of this the light pink. I think I have enough to pop some in here. And of course, I prefer to have more pink than I do yellow, so. Oh, I hope you guys like this. Whoops. I love this color pink. I have so many ideas. I don't even have time to do all the ideas I think about. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm going to do a pattern that's pretty small on this because I'm going to have scraps of fabric, and I don't just want color blocking. I want, you know, you to be able to see that there is a design in the fabric. So we'll see how much of this we can get laid down in this one tank after I get the paint moved. Again, I always start with just a back and forth. I actually have a gigantic tool that is the length of this tank that I could do this with, but I enjoy moving the paint. Sorry, you're not, I'm out of camera and I understand that, but I'm getting there. But I enjoy moving the paint so much that I really prefer to do it this way. It doesn't take that much longer, and it is so enjoyable. Oh, I can't wait to see this come off the water. I figure even if I have to just use the scraps and put little pieces of it in the binding when I'm creating the binding, that'll work for me. It'll just kind of help tie it together, because some of my pieces are pretty small, but that's all right. I don't mind. So this is a Get Gel, and I'm just back and forth is all that means. I see other marblers who marble and they just stop right after this part. And I always think, why did I never do that? I can't speak today. I apologize. Why don't I never do it? Because it's just too much fun. I love the fine lines you get when you use the tools. Can't wait to do the quilt. It's going to be fun. And here I am dragging the utensil along the bottom. I'm surprised at how much I like this color, these colors together. All right. There's that. So now I'll get my other tools. So we're just going to use this other one. This time I'm just pulling it straight back. All right, put this aside. And now I'm gonna alert my husband that he needs to be ready to come and help me in a second to lay the big piece. I'm not done yet. Sorry about that. With this long piece of fabric, I'm going to need help laying it on the surface because it needs to go down nice and flat, and it's too long for me to manage. I just love doing this. I wish you could all experience it. It is so much fun. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just whatever makes you happy. Now, I suppose a purist would argue with me about that, but it's art. Do what makes you happy. Okay. So there's that. How's it look? Do you think I need anything else? Do I need to, am I missing anything? Oh, I'm happy you like it, Patricia. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. All right, let me grab a drink. Oh, I really like it. I wish I was doing a scarf. I'm surprised I like it as much as I do with the yellow. Hi. My husband just gave me a heart attack. I went to open the door and he was standing right there. And we're going to try to go, let's go kind of up against this side over here because I want to put these scraps in. Perfect, thank you. So here's all the little, oh, hey dear, will you grab my battery charger, please, for my phone? My phone's losing battery, I forgot to plug it in. Okay, so these are the little, pieces that are just left over from the cutting out the dog bandanas. So I'm just going to fill these in the tank as much as I can. Whoa, and trip over a bucket. I'm going to wiggle the camera here in a minute. Thank you. While I plug this in. I usually always remember that, but not today. Jiggle, jiggle, sorry. There we go. Okay. Now we have power again. I just have to make sure it's like a puzzle that I'm doing here, and I want to maximize the space. I know you probably can't see me right now. I do have a few larger pieces that I'll put down. some little bitty pieces. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Raced home from work and finished getting set up. Oh, I can get one more in there. All right. So now I have a few more of these rectangles. We'll just lay them right down. Just didn't want anything to go to waste if I can help it. So again, this long strip is I'm going to cut her name out of those. I'm going to do letters and cut her name out. I can tell you right now that not all of the pieces are going to fit in here, but most of them. I think the challenge is going to be trying to find fabrics that, you know, match the color tones. But with a quilt, it doesn't have to be exact. I keep having to tell myself that because I get very hung up on wanting to match everything perfectly. All right, I'm almost done laying these in. It's like a game of Tetris. This is fun. Oh, this is fun. I'm getting close. This is probably my last one. Oops. Oh, look at what I did. I changed my mind and dipped the end in, and it doesn't fit over there. Need a smaller piece to go in there. It's just too big. These may all just be the same size. Yeah, those are all too big. And I have this one long strip, but it's not going to fit anywhere, so. I have one with just a tip marbled, and then all this other. So let's see what it looks like coming off the water. So there it is. I'll just take them all out. Each piece is going to be unique. There's no fabric like this anywhere else in the world. Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh, I cannot wait to see this put into a quilt. I think I'm probably going to use like polka dots and solids and let the letters just be the what stands out. Oh, I'm very, very pleased. This one here, this piece has there's one little tiny stripe of yellow just right there up by my finger, but the rest of it is all pink and gray. All right, now I need to dry my hands a little bit. Still have quite a few pieces to pull off the surface. But see how all that paint's gone, basically, because I filled the entire tank with fabric. I'm not wasting a lot of paint. Is there enough light there for you to see that? I hope so. Hello, Millie. Welcome. This is Hebrew water marbling. I'm just pulling this cotton off the surface of the water that I marbled, and this will be made into a quilt. Whoops, I almost forgot to show you. Each piece is so unique. This is going to be cool. Whoops, I left one down here in the corner. And they will be washable. I'll rinse it again and hang everything up to dry. Now look at this one. This one's almost all yellow. I'll rinse them again, hang them up to dry, and then I'll press them all with an iron, and that heat sets the paint in. It's acrylic paint, so when you heat set it, it melts into the fabric. I'm trying to keep it unfolded so you can see the whole piece. Oh, I am excited to work on this project. Everybody pray that I win the lotto so I can stay home next week and do this. I'll give some away too, but all right. This is so fun. I cannot even express how much fun I'm having right now, pulling these things off of the water. I can't see the comments, so I will come back if you're asking questions. And look at this one, has a lot of white in it. All right, that's all of them, I think. I don't think I missed any. And there's hardly any paint left on the surface. Just gonna rinse my hands a little bit. That's one thing about this. My hands are always very colorful. When I go into work on Mondays, I have to take a little brush in the shower and scrub my hands a little bit to get the paint off of them. Oh, good. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. Yes, I will show the finished quilt. I'll show in the process of it. Okay, you've got a deal, Joni. We'll have a party. So now I'm just gonna see. I need to get a baggie and get all of this fabric out of the rinse bucket. So I had 5 pieces, and most of the one that just got its tip in there left over, plus the long little strip. So that's not too bad, and I can certainly still marble those in a different color and use it for something else. But I just had something in mind. I knew my friends were having a baby, but with you know, COVID and stuff, and we're not in the same state, and I was wondering when she was due, and we got the announcement the other day, and she was born in the end of January. Okay. Oh, I saw another piece sneak down in there. All right. I think that's all. So this is a pile of fun. Look at there. All of it right there. Oh, I haven't spent a lot of time with my sewing machine in a while. And between the dog bandanas, this quilt, and one other project, well, I have my top that I want to do and one other project. So my sewing machine is so very old. I bought it used in 1980, 1981. That puppy is still going, but it doesn't give me a perfect stitch like it used to. It kind of wants to jiggle a little bit. I know one of these days it's going to break down, and they're going to tell me that they can't get parts for it. And I'll be sad. It's given me so many years of 4-H sewing classes and my kids learning to sew, and just me and all my projects. So I'm just putting down the newsprint to take this off of the surface, what's remaining. And then I'm actually going to flip the camera the other way so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. It'll be a little distance, but because I don't know that you can, maybe I'll move it over here. I've got electrical cords back the other way, so I really don't want to put the water right in an area that can drip. So as soon as I get this cleaned up, I will move you ever so carefully. It's such a lot of work for me to take this off to shows, but it is so much fun. I have the best time. It's so magical. I wish I could get the, hello Susan, I wish I could get the comments to stay up, and I wish I could see them as they scroll on. All right. Every time I pull this newsprint out, some of the size comes out with it. So I lose probably 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons, depending on how long I marble. And I just made, Wednesday night, I made up a new batch of size. And has to sit overnight at minimum so that all the bubbles dissipate. And then, all right. So I'm going to unplug the phone for a second, and I'm going to move you around, and then I have to turn the top. So if you're going to get motion sickness, now's the time to look away, and I'll let you know when I'm done. Because I'm going to have to put you on the other side so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Let's not drag the cord through the tank. Here we go. Going to the other side of the tank, I'm going to have to push it that way. Push it on the other end. Okay. Tightening it up here, and then I've got to go back around and plug my phone back in. Let's see, hopefully, I didn't hear it ding, hopefully that worked. So now I'm going to move you around. This way. Sorry guys, I'm almost done. Okay, I'm waiting for the screen to catch up with me. So I'm waiting for this. Can you see there, or do I need to move it? Is that better? I know it's quite a distance away. I don't think I can zoom in at all. I just caught up on the, that'll be all right. You can kind of get the idea. It's the exact same thing we were just doing, only it's in a bucket. I don't have another sturdy small table, or I would move it up on, oh, you know what I can use? This'll lift it up to you a little bit more. How's that? That's a little better. So I use that stool when I'm at shows, and little kids get to stand on it so they can reach the tank and do things by themselves somewhat. So again, if you can see, this is a fresh batch. When I poured it in here, it gets all bubbly, and I have not yet cleared the surface of the bubbles. And it's just been sitting out here, so there may be some impurities. All right, so this is where we're doing the tumbler. There's a little bit of bubble right there, and I don't like that. So let me get a piece of paper. And get those out of there. Okay. All right, now here we go again. What color do I use? I think I will use I don't know. Let's use kind of a light, let's use the light pink. I think I can get some more out of there. Pink, yellow, purple. Let's do a spring colored one. So pink, yellow, purple, white. Let's see if I have a pale green in the, I have 3 brands of paints that I use. And I kind of have to stay within brand. Some of them do not play well together. And I only have a really bright green, a Kelly green. So we'll just use these and see how this looks. So I'm going to start just like I have before. Now this is the tumbler, so when I'm done, I will not be rinsing it. Okay. Again, I'm just dropping this onto the surface, just like I did in the big tank. This is a 5-gallon bucket that I'm using, and it needs to have the depth to accommodate my tumbler. Just like the tanks, the long tanks for the scarves and the long pieces of fabric. And look how green that looks because my bucket is blue. And now, sorry if my head's in the way, my favorite pink, which I need to mix more of. Now I'm getting down to the very end and it's giving me bubbles. Just trying, might as well use it, every bit of it up if I can. Oh, that was a big bubble mess. Okay, well, pretty much looks like it's all. needs to be redone, refilled. So there we have our colors. I want to get rid of these bubbles. And the bubbles were coming out because it was just the end of the paint in the bottle. One more little set right there. I keep seeing more and more. So now I'm just going to come through and make sure those places are moved. All right. All right, so I will be right back. I need to go in and grab the first tumbler. I'll be right back. Okay, I keep them in the house so that they stay at a constant temperature. This is just a white tumbler that's been prepared. And let's do it. Oh. Now hopefully that won't matter, because once it's printed, it should not matter at all. And what I do is set these on floral frogs, what you use for flower arrangements. I just dumped the water all over the floor, so I'm just going to set it over here, and then I just let it do its thing. So this one might look funky because of the, when I dropped it back in. This is the first time I've done that using those particular gloves, and they're a little bit slipperier than what I was expecting. Just sopping up some of this water. The water is very slick and kind of, so I want to make sure I get it picked up somewhat so I don't slip and fall on it. Because I'm out here in flip-flops. Flip-flops in Idaho in March. Not wise, but that's all right. So I will definitely post photos once that has a chance to dry. And I have one more, so I'm going to get that cleaned up a little bit. And I'm going to clean this bucket, and I have one more. I bought a Hydro Flask, and I wasn't sure if I could do it with a powder-coated tumbler. So I did sand it, and then we're going to find out if we can do this. I usually use this 5-gallon bucket for my trash can, and since I needed to use it for this, I had to get a replacement. And what I do so that when I dip the next one in here, when I print it, I kind of mix this around so there's not a lot of color in any one spot, and then it won't adhere to the next one. We do this all the time. That's the trash can. What's serving as my trash can is my hat bin. It's where I print hat and sneakers. So let's see if I can not drop it this time. Rinse my hand off. It's very slimy. Now we get to choose the colors for the next one. Let's see. Any recommendations for the next one? It's a white Hydro Flask. Green, Kelly green. Yeah, that would have been overpowering with that one though. I may end up washing this one off and doing it again. It would look really good if I had not dropped it back in. So I may have to do another one, do that one over. So let's see. Let's use gray, a dark green, and white. Maybe a little bit of black. That's what we're going to use for this one. Total different. This is a more masculine colorway. I see I have bubbles all over the surface, so we need to fix that. All right. That other one would look so cool had I not dropped it. At least I know I can fix it. If I go in there, I could probably set it in some water and it would just come right off. I'm going to pop a few bubbles and we'll get started again. Okay, so white. I hope I don't keep putting my head in the photo. I keep forgetting the camera is right above me. All right. And when I drop the paint, I don't squeeze the bottle. I just let gravity do its thing. I'll put in some black. Don't want a whole lot, just a little bit. Well, I don't know. I have a deep green and then this green. Which one should I use? Any thoughts? Let's see what you think. Either one? Let's use the darker one, I guess. I guess I could put both in there if I wanted. Woo! Okay. I squeezed it a little bit so I could get that to come out. I think the nozzle was clogged. So now we'll get the gray. Right after I say don't squeeze it, what did I do? I squeezed it. Sometimes they need a little coaxing. Usually I'm better at that though. All right, here we have our colors in. And that's where I have a big thing of bubbles right there. So one half of this is going to be very more green than the other. It's looking okay though. These bubbles, it's my own fault. I know better than to shake them right before I use them. It's usually when I'm at a show, that's what I do. First thing in the morning after I get everything put back together, then I'll go through and shake everything while we're waiting for everything to open up. Okay, let me go get the other one. Let's not drop it this time. Let's see what I can do about that. Boo-boo. All right, here we go. This is just a hydro flask. And let's see what we can do. There we go. And I'll go sit that over on, can you see it? It's awfully bright. It looks good with that black on there. So we'll see how this one does. Sometimes, I'm just being very cautious as I set it down. I do glassware, wine glasses. I've done a carafe, a wine carafe. And sometimes after it sits there and starts drying a little bit, it'll start pulling away. So we're gonna see what this is gonna do. Black is difficult to work with. It looks really good on that because of the symbol, the Hydro Flask symbol. But we'll see. I may end up washing both of those off. I'm not 100% sure, but that's all I have today, everyone. Hold on, I'm gonna move you up so I can say goodbye. Lovely shot of my hand. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I will be back next Friday afternoon sometime between 5 and 7. We get off work sometimes at 3, sometimes not. So as soon as I can get home and get ready, I will be on marbling something. I don't have many plans for next week yet, but I'm sure ideas will come. So everyone take care. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.